Hi, we're back to you from Budapest, Hungary. And why did we choose Budapest? It's because it's a place that's been on our list for a long time. And based on our research, we had looked at all of those iconic photos of the parliament, the important buildings, castles, the thermal baths, of course. So for all those reasons, we decided we should come and visit Budapest.
And to our surprise, it was bigger. The city was more livable for us, and it just made it a little bit easier for us to settle into the city. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to share our first impressions after being here for a few days, and then hopefully try to answer the question for everyone and for ourselves, could we stay here longer?
If you're new here, we're Karen and Dharmesh. We retired early in 2023, and we've been traveling full-time since then. Our motto is to live an intentional life through slow travel, and we love discovering what everyday life feels like. So let's share our first impressions of Budapest.
So let's talk about how we got here, and it was actually a fairly easy flight. We were in Madrid. It was only a couple of hours, if I'm correct, and getting into the airport here was simple. It's not a very large airport, so we got through fairly quick, and we actually were able to take public transit. So we actually hopped on the 100 bus. I think it might have actually been 100E, if I'm correct. I'll double check that and put it down on the bottom for you. And then it only cost us 2,500 forint per person, and we'll give the exchange once again at the bottom. And it was get on the bus and then take it right to the very end. It goes straight from the airport all the way to the last stop, which is the central of downtown, and very close to our Airbnb from there. It was about a 5-minute walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting in, as Dom said, was a breeze, and we got in early enough that we were able to do some of our daily chores when we got in, which is to pick up some groceries for dinner and for our breakfast the next day.
Now, we took the public transit for the bus. You can also take Ubers. There's taxis as well, all available right when you get out the door there. But once again, for ease and comfort, we decided to take the public transit.
One of the first things we noticed as we were sitting on the bus was Budapest is quite large. It felt as big as any other European cities that we visited recently. We noticed they have nice wide boulevards, the multiple transit lanes, and it was fairly busy. We also passed many neighborhoods, and even though it seemed like a large city, immediately when we got to our Airbnb and we started walking around, it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt comfortable fairly quickly for us. That's how I felt. And I guess that's a good sign for people like us that are slow traveling.
All right, another thing on arrival that everybody's concerned about is currency, about money, about cash. And I'll let you know that it's been really good for us. Everything's been tappable. We haven't had to use any actual cash. Now, we did stop at an ATM, picked up a small amount, and we haven't used it, even down to the smallest little things when you're buying just little snacks or treats for the transit, even coming from the airport. We were able to tap getting onto the bus, so we didn't need any currency then as well. So it's easy to use credit cards and not have to worry about carrying too much cash with you.
One of the first things we do when we arrived in a city is to book ourselves a walking tour. And we do enjoy using free walking tours. Now, we do tip at the end of it, so there is a cost associated with that. But it's a great way for us to get lay of the land and figure out the city very quickly. And our tour guide was also excellent because we had told him that we're going to be here for a number of weeks. He gave us extra tips on how to get around and things to see and whatnot.
It did take a bit of time. It was about 3.5 hours, so be prepared. It wasn't strenuous walking, fairly flat surfaces, so very good in that aspect. And it gave us a good lay of the land for sure.
Doing this walking tour really helped us understand the history behind a lot of the landmarks that we've seen in photos. And it really gave us a better appreciation of what we're seeing around Budapest.
And then I'll add in a little bit more of excitement. If it's not well known, there are a lot of movies that are shot here in Budapest. And our guide was full of information, had some stories. And then we even got lucky enough that Hollywood was here shooting a scene. Just in one of the squares, the Liberty Square to be exact, they had turned one of the corners into Paris, into a little French scenery. They set back in the 40s,
and
50s, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was nice just to stop and actually see it being made. They wouldn't tell us what the movie was.
One of the things that you can't ignore when you're in Budapest is the Danube River. And we had looked at pictures. We didn't realize how large it was. And also that the Danube River separates Buda into two sides, which is the Buda side, and then the Pest side. So there's two sides of the city. And our impression is they feel very different.
Yeah, and it's night and day, I think, for me at least. The one side, the Buda side first, the impression when we did a quick, short little walk on that side, definitely a lot quieter, a little bit more laid back, not as much as far as retail and shops and cafes and things like that. It's definitely a lot slower pace on that side. Mm-hmm. And then on the Pest side is where all the action, we believe, is. And our impression was that if we were to stay on the Buda side, we would be coming over to the Pest side a lot more.
That's if we wanted to do touristy things. One of the things that surprised me was the number of river cruises that go through on the Danube. I knew there would be some. They either make a stop in Budapest or they start in Budapest. But I was quite impressed by the number of boats that were in the water. And then also the river cruises that take place in the evenings.
And even after just a few days, we do find ourselves going back to the Danube on a regular basis for walks. It's great in the morning. It's great in the evening. We'll definitely be spending a lot of time there.
So let's talk about architecture in Budapest. We expected it to be beautiful, but boy, were we shocked. The buildings here are outstanding. Everywhere we look, there's something on the buildings. And it doesn't have to be famous or popular buildings. It's just everyday ordinary buildings.
Yeah, we would just take a stroll down the street and turn a corner. It doesn't have to even be a main street, just an alleyway. Yeah. If you look up or you take a look around, there's something everywhere. And we're just in awe of how much there is. We've been to cities where, yes, they have nice architecture and they've got statues and figurines, but they've got so many here. They've taken it to another level. Mm-hmm. We even go searching sometimes for these little mini statues that they've got here, which makes it a fun scavenger hunt.
So as John was mentioning, the buildings here are impressive. So a very short walk in a day turns out to end up being a 3 to 4 hour walk because we're constantly stopping to look at the different buildings. So our advice is when you're here, look around you and constantly look up because you never know what you will miss if you don't do that. And of course, one of the first landmarks we wanted to see was the Hungarian Parliament building. And boy, did it impress us.
The Parliament building lived up to its expectations. It was grand. I didn't know what to expect, but the photos don't do it justice. And we were there taking photos all the time in the last few days. We've got ones at night when they've lit it up and it looks totally different than it does in the daytime. So it's a must-see spot and another location that we will be walking by. Let's talk about our impressions of transportation. Getting around the city, as we said, it is big, bigger than we thought. But once again, we don't feel overwhelmed with transportation. In saying that, I will be honest, we do walk everywhere we go. The city is very walkable, so we haven't had to take transit ourselves, but there are a lot of buses going. There's no shortage of buses, trams as well, mm-hmm. and a metro system. So you can make your way around the city fairly easy.
And we've seen metro stations pretty much everywhere we've been, like in all corners of the city. So it is very easy, as Drum said, to get around. But the only thing I would say is our tour guide kept telling us is make sure you validate your ticket. So when we take the metro, we're going to make sure we validate our tickets.
Yes, they're very strict about their validation here. And we've been warned that they will ticket you right on the spot. So this is our warning to you. If you're going to take any of the transportation systems here, make sure you're validating that ticket as soon as you get on, if not before.
Mm-hmm. And for a city this size, it is a large city, as we said earlier. Transportation does matter. As John mentioned, we use our feet to get around pretty much everywhere, but we know that we can easily use transit when needed. So let's start talking about food. There's plenty of food everywhere we look around us. There's definitely no shortage. So in our case, we are cooking at home a lot, but if you're not cooking at home, you're going to find food everywhere. Now, one of the first things we tried when we got here was strudel. They are known for their strudels, and the most popular one is their local cheese called Turosh, and it's usually with sour cherry, but the one that I tried was with just the cheese, and then Drum ended up trying a different one.
Yeah, I did try the traditional one. It wasn't my favorite, I'll admit, so sorry about that. Kieran loved it. Now, for me, I'm an apple guy, so then they had an apple version. Now, it's not quite like apple pie. It doesn't taste as sweet, but still, I preferred it over the original Turosh. Is that how you say it?
Turosh.
Turosh, yes, Turosh one.
Yeah, which is cheese. Yeah. But it's really nice because the filling is quite good. Like, doesn't matter what filling you choose. And the pastry is extremely light, so it didn't feel like a heavy snack at all.
Now, in saying that we talked about eating out, we also do cook in a fair bit. What we like to look at when we first arrive is that are grocery stores available? Are they close by? Can we cook? Are things easy to find? And I think overall, it's been pretty good for us for these first few days. There are a lot of corner kind of grocery stores. There's no large location, but we have found a Prima. I think there's been Spar as well. That's correct. Yeah. The only downside I'd say that for us for that was that not every location has everything we need. So we do have sometimes to go from one to another just to get the ingredients that we're looking for.
Outside of grocery stores, we've also gone to some of the local markets, and that's where we actually enjoy picking up produce and fruits and vegetables usually. And we've noticed there's a number of them around. So if, make sure you also check those out and don't just limit yourself to the grocery stores. And there's a number of them close by, very easy to get to. Now, at those markets, you will need cash. We noticed that people were paying with cash. As John mentioned, there are plenty of grocery stores, but they are on the smaller side. So we haven't come across any of the giant grocery stores that we're used to back home. But everything we need, we've been able to find at either one or the other. What's nice about this is it makes our everyday errands easy. Now, we are running out every couple days to get groceries just because the refrigerator that we have is smaller. So having access to a lot of different grocery stores has made our life much easier. And it also helps us feel more connected to a place because we really feel like we're, starting to live more like a local when we can do these things.
We know it's only been a few days, but our first impression is that Budapest is livable. It's not just built for tourists. We see people out doing their regular day-to-day things, going to the park, families playing. There's people out commuting around the city and shopping.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing we're impressed with is it seems like a very active city. Like there's lots of people out jogging because we're out quite early in the morning doing our walks or later in the evening. We see a lot of joggers. We see a lot of cyclists, mums that are pushing their strollers, dog walkers. So as John mentioned, it doesn't feel like this is only for tourists. Like people actually are able to live in Budapest and do the day-to-day living. And that is something that's important to us because we want to feel like we're part of that community when we're visiting areas for a longer time. So looking at how people live their daily life here as slow travelers, that is important to us because, we're not just asking ourselves if this is an interesting city for us to visit. We are going to be spending a month here, so it's important for us to feel comfortable spending that length of time in the area.
Let's talk about what surprised us the most in Budapest. And it was a couple of different things, or actually more than a couple of things, a few things, starting with transportation, how easy and comfortable it was to get around town, getting from the airport to our Airbnb and stuff like that. And another item that surprised us was the sheer amount of architecture and beauty that the buildings have here. Definitely was not expecting that, and it definitely makes me speechless sometimes, I'd say. And finding those little kind of things that you weren't expecting to find just around any corner was definitely something that surprised us. The final thing I'll say in regards to surprise was how easy it was for us to get comfortable, for us to be able to get the lay of the land and be able to make our way around around this big location and city. We are fairly set in place now. We know where everything is and how to get to it. So now it's just a matter of enjoying and exploring a bit deeper.
We find that the city really rewards slow travelers. When we slow down and we notice all those things around us, as we mentioned earlier, the architecture, just the daily life around us, it's been extremely rewarding. We've been able to take leisure walks around. There's lots of green space. There's parks that we can get to, numerous large parks that we can get to, and just do very simple, basic things. So for us, it's not the big things that are standing out right away. Yes, those monuments like the Hungarian Parliament building or Buda Castle that we see across the river, those are all important. But more important than that is the day-to-day things that we've been able to experience here.
And I will toss in there, and this is something, because we want to keep it upfront and honest with everybody, we were surprised by the actual cost of things and the fact of all these main attractions have entry fees. Even when you're going into cathedrals, when you're going into the museums, when you're going pretty much anywhere, there is an entry fee. And some of them can get to be a little bit high. So that was something that surprised us, and we want to make sure you're aware of that, that if you are coming here, that there will be a bit of a fee. Some places, cities we've gone to, there have been actually at least a handful of places where you can enter for free and be able to see, such as museums and things, but we haven't been able to do that here as of yet.
So we're still very early in our month stay in Budapest, so we're going to have a lot more to explore, a lot more to experience, definitely more culture to experience in the area, and we need to make sure to fulfill Dharm's dining out opportunities, because there's a lot of food in here that we need to experience that as well. So we're going to be here for a full month, and we're going to have lots more videos for the area.
That's correct. And as Karen was saying, so this is part one of a 4-part series that we're doing here in Budapest. So we still have 3 more videos coming your way. First one, of course, will be a travel guide to Budapest for sort of the itinerary and where to go and what to see. And then we'll do our 1-month cost breakdown, as everybody's always asking for the numbers. And then we'll give you our final thoughts after being here for a month and see if our impressions have changed after spending a full month here.
So if you've visited Budapest, what stood out to you the most? Do you have some tips that you would be willing to share with us to make our month here more enjoyable? It would be great if you could share your thoughts in the comments below, because that would be helpful not only to us, but also to the other viewers. As John mentioned, there's going to be another video about Budapest coming up next. So until next time, thanks for watching, and let's travel together.